Hello everyone and welcome to Lindsay's Little Library. I'm here to go through my January wrap-up. Somehow I have done the almost impossible in my life and I read 8 books in 1 month. That's pretty crazy. Don't get used to it. Doesn't happen a lot. But somehow 8 books. So pretty excited about that. 8 really good books. I didn't give anything lower than a 4-star. Pretty different. And they made me think. So let's hop right in and talk about what I read. The first book that I read in January, and I kind of feel like I'm cheating because I finished it literally on January 1st, but I read like more than half the book that day, so it'll count. But that book is Small Great Things by Jodi Picoult. Jodi is an automatic buy for me. I love all of her books. I love how they make me think, and they are full of she puts a lot of research into it, and it's full of a lot of very controversial things, and somehow her topics always seem to be very relevant at the time that I'm reading the book. So Small Great Things is about, based on the character Ruth Johnson, or Ruth Jefferson. She's a labor and delivery nurse. She's been working at a hospital for 20 plus years. She has a lot of experience, and these parents come in, first-time parents. She helps them a little bit, but then she's told that she's no longer on the case. She's curious and wondering why that happened, and it turns out that the parents are white supremacists and Ruth Johnson is African American. So definitely deals with a lot about race, a lot about what each side lives through and what they're thinking, and how their day-to-day life is and how they're going to deal with this. And it takes some really good twists and turns. It keeps you reading, and wow, did it really make me think. So highly recommend, 5 stars, definitely on my recommendation list right now. So pick this one up, it's great. The next 2 books I knocked out pretty quick are, it's a duology. The first book is The Book of Ivy. This is by Amy Engel. And then the second book is The Revolution of Ivy. I gave both of these books 4 stars. Basically the premises is the world has gone through a nuclear war, so it's post-nuclear war, dystopian type environment. Out of that war, a small band of people formed a civilization, and there was a little bit of fighting between 2 families, and one family won, one family lost. 50 years later, that civilization is still thriving, maybe not thriving, still going, and the family that lost has to marry their daughters to the family that won. And Ivy is her father, or she comes from the family that lost, and she's marrying the president's son, and her plan or her job is to go and kill the president's son. Really good. I won't tell you much about the second one because it'll ruin the first one, but they're short books, they're little. I sped through these pretty good. This does end on a really big cliffhanger, so my advice is to have the second book ready before you even finish the first, because you're going to want to know what happens. So, good book, 4 stars for both of them. The next book I read, and I don't think read is even the right word, I devoured this book. Behind Closed Doors by B.A. Paris. This was amazing. 5+ stars for me. I actually read this when I was on vacation. I started it one afternoon and finished it the next morning. I don't think there was even 24 hours from cover to cover. It was phenomenal. It's about the perfect couple, but they're really not so perfect because behind closed doors, some things happen. I'm not going to tell you much more. I honestly think the less you know about this book when you go into it, the better. Pick this up. I promise you, you will not put it down. Call in sick to work. Tell people you're not going to be there. Get a sitter for the kids, whatever you do. This one's awesome. The next book that I read, I don't have. I borrowed it to a friend at work. It's called Sleeping Giants. It's by Sylvain Neuvel. This is something I got in my Book of the Month Club when I was subscribing to them. So finally I've crossed off a Book of the Month Club book. That's just pretty epic for me. This is about a little girl named Rose, and she's riding her bike in, I believe, South Dakota, and all of a sudden the ground opens up, and she wakes up to, she's laying in the bottom of a square hole, and there's firemen up there to rescue her, and the firemen are looking down on her and see that Rose is laying in the palm of a metal hand, a giant metal hand. So really great sci-fi book. definitely had me going. The way it was written was very unique. It was almost written like a case file, so almost like they're interviewing the different characters throughout the book. Really, really good. 4 stars. There were parts of it where I was slightly confused and there was something about it that I didn't like, but I'm not going to give it away. But nothing that would say the book is bad. It's still a very good book. The next book I read was The Silent Sister by Diane Chamberlain, another like automatic buy author for me. I really, really like her work. This book is about a girl named Riley, and she's growing up thinking that her sister Lisa has committed suicide. 20 years later, her father passes away. Her mother had passed away a while before that. She's cleaning out her dad's house and she finds some stuff. And she learns some stuff that basically her life is definitely not what she thought it was. I'm just going to leave it at that. Really good page turner. You do see she goes through a lot of different, she goes between a couple of characters in this book. A little bit of it was slow and a little predictable at some times, which is why I put her down to 4 stars, because usually Diane Chamberlain's a 5-star for me. But other than that, still a very good book. Definitely worth picking it up. And the last couple books I read was Sweet Girl by Travis Mulhauser. Hopefully I didn't murder that one. This I actually read on audiobook. I have a commute. I commute about an hour every day. So I have some time. I have some time to listen to some books. The radio gets boring after a while. So this was definitely great. This was a short book to listen to. I devoured this in about a week, so it was only about maybe 5 or 6 hours. So it's not too bad. This is about a 16-year-old girl named Percy, and she is on a quest to find her mother, who is most likely missing from taking some sort of drugs. She knows the usual places her mom goes, and so she goes to one of them. This takes place during the winter in Michigan, and there is a huge blizzard happening, but she feels the need to go find her mom. And she stumbles upon an abandoned baby. Both of the parents are not conscious at the time, so she feels the need or this drive to save this baby, and it's the middle of a blizzard. She has to employ the help of some characters along the way. She has to kind of grow up a little bit along the way and make some really tough decisions, but all in all, a very good book. An excellent audiobook. The narrator was phenomenal with this one, kept me interested the entire time, to the point where there was days I took the long way home because I wanted to listen to it a little bit more. And the final book is The Weight of Silence by Heather Gutenkopf. This book I already borrowed to my mom. She already took it from me. Heather Gutenkopf is another automatic buy for me. I love her books. She always keeps me guessing as far as what's happening. This is a really good mystery. Heather does a great job telling the story from multiple characters' perspectives, which I fully enjoy. I like to see what it looks like from everybody's viewpoint. This one is about 2 families who awake in the morning to find their two little girls are missing. They have wandered off. They assume together. One of them is a selective mute. She stopped talking when she was about 4, and she's about 7 now, so there's been about 3 years without her talking. But her best friend, which is the other little girl, talks for her. So you learn about what has happened to cause Callie's muteness, and you learn a little bit about each of these families, a lot about each of these families, and kind of their process of finding these girls. Great book, 4 stars. The first third of it was a little slow for me. I kept just waiting for something to happen, and it wasn't quite there yet, but once I hit that, gone. It was devoured. It was really good from there, so hit it back a little bit, but it is one of Heather's older books, so I can definitely see the growth that she has, that she's made throughout her career. So her newer books are definitely a little bit more packed with thrills and a little less predictable. So all in all, a great book. So yeah, that's it. 8 books in January. That's very strange for me, but I enjoyed every single one of them. I liked them a lot. I would suggest any of them. So if any of them you find interesting, fantastic, pick it up. Let me know which ones maybe have you a little hooked. Leave a comment below. And again, like my page, subscribe to my page below. Let me know how we're doing. Again, a little new to BookTube, but I'm super excited to be here, and thanks for all the love that I've gotten so far. It's pretty fantastic, and I enjoy talking to you all. So that's about it. Have a great day. Bye.